Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another 10 pens currently inked this week. I think let's go through these briefly one by one. We'll go through them in a little bit more detail and then we'll do a writing sample. So from left to right, we have the Anoto, and this is the Platinum Jubilee, and this is the overlay. We have an Anoto Platinum Jubilee in sterling silver. We have a Anoto, and this is the Coronation in sterling silver. We have a Conway Stewart Coronation in sterling silver. We have an Anoto, and this is the Christmas Carol, Colt Pens exclusive. We have a Mr. Cypress Eggshell 05A, a Mr. Cypress Eggshell 06, an Anoto Magna Carta, an Anoto Rosetta Stone, and an Anoto, the British Museum Great Court Vitreous. So I think let's take a look at these pens in a little bit more detail here. So this is the Anoto, the pen, as you can see, made in England. This is the overlay for the Platinum Jubilee. And you can see that the sterling silver overlay there on the cap. This is a resin pen. But you can see the Jubilee coin finial there as well. And this was obviously just before Queen Elizabeth II departed us. And I wanted a pen to commemorate her. Actually, I wanted the original pen. I was looking at this pen as well. And I got these two first. And then I decided I still like this. It's very elegant black with sterling silver overlay on the cap. So I decided I would pick this one up, and this has the Anoto number 7 size 18 karat gold, and that's a medium nib. This does come with a plunger. I've got a cartridge converter in there at the moment. You can post the cap, and it will post fairly deeply. It doesn't post securely though. It does spin though. So I'm not normally one to post my caps, so that really doesn't bother me. But I know if you do post your caps, that might be something that you want to check out just in case. The next pen here inked up is the same, really. It's the Anoto, and this is the Platinum Jubilee, but this is in solid sterling silver. So this isn't on a resin. This is not an overlay. It is solid silver. So this pen weighs a ton in comparison to this pen. Again, though, you have the beautiful cap insignia there as well, and also the Coronation, sorry, not Coronation, the Platinum Jubilee there that you can see there on the coin finial. And this is a beautiful pen. I do like it a lot. I like the style. I like the weight of it. And I also like the length of it as well. So this is a very, very nice size pen. I can post the cap if I want to, but it's so long. You really don't want to be posting this cap. And it's going to be back weighted because the sterling silver cap is quite weighty as well. Although I would say it is more balanced because there is more silver down here on the body. So the nib here I've got is an Anoto, and it's a 18 karat gold number 7 size nib, and it's a medium nib there as well. So I've got that there. And I like this pen a lot. I love how it writes. It writes spectacularly. And I know a number of people at my pen clubs and that have said that these Anotos, the sterling silver models, they just feel right. They just feel like they're worth the money. It's not that the resins here are not worth it. It's just that they feel substantial in the hand because of the weight of the sterling silver. And then when I picked up the sterling silver Platinum Jubilee, I also picked up this one, which is the King's Coronation pen from Anoto, and this is really beautiful. So that does actually have the Coronation coin finial there, but it also has a huge amount of detail going on in this cap, and also in the body as well. this Anoto really did knock this out of the park on this pen. Um, it has a number 7 size, 18 karat gold, medium nib again, and these all three of these actually came with the plunger filler mechanism. I have since swapped them out for cartridge converters, but they are very nice pens. So cartridge converter is going to make it a little bit lighter. You can post the cap again on that one. I'd say that this one is a little bit more heavier, the cap. At least it feels it in how it posts. But this is quite a beautiful, beautiful pen. So I'm really glad that I was able to add this to my collection. 2023 has been a bit of a whirlwind year for me. And that's when I added these three, and also this one, and this one, and these two. And I think these three, these were from the previous years. The next pen is the Conway Stewart, and this is the King's Coronation, or King Charles III Coronation pen is the actual title. And you can see his head there on the cap finial. And this is a limited edition one of 121 of 250. Now, interestingly enough, this one from Anoto is a limited edition one of, let me show you here, 7. So 7, and I've got number 7. So that kind of shows the difference between these two. Now, I do still like this Coronation from Conway Stewart. It is really nice, but similar to this one, this Platinum Jubilee, it is an overlay. You don't see any resin here when the pen is closed, but when you uncap it, you do see the resin here. It's a resin body and also cap there as well. It has a number 6 size, and this is a Yovo Conway Stewart nib, and it's an 18 karat gold medium nib. This comes with a cartridge converter, this one. This doesn't come with a plunger filler. You can post the cap as well, and that does post quite securely there as well. I do like this though. It is, although I think I'd prefer to have a silver section. I know a lot of people complain that silver sections are too slippery for them. I have not found that to be the case for myself, and I typically do have greasy hands, but or greasy fingers. But I guess if you are using hand lotion a lot, then you will probably be affected by that. So if you do put hand lotion on, or soaps, or anything like that on a regular basis, then that is definitely going to react in how slippery a silver section pen will be. The next pen I have inked up, wow, this actually feels really light. And it's not really light, it's just that these are heavy pens. This is the Anoto Cult Pens exclusive Christmas Carol. And again, I like this pen a lot. I picked it up in around the summertime last year. This was in the sale actually, and strangely enough, there was only 10 of these ever made, and this is from a year or two prior to that. So they haven't sold, and I don't know why. I love this pen, and you can see that I've got a glitter ink still in this pen. I've got a steel nib. It came with a steel nib, an Anoto number 7 size. So the steel nibs are Yovo nibs. The gold nibs are Bock nibs for Anoto, but the nib unit is the same. So you can actually screw in a Bock or a Yovo Anoto nib into this, and it will screw in perfectly fine. But it is a steel nib. I can get a gold nib if I want to. I think this one I'm going to probably be inking up with glitter ink a lot of the time. So I'm actually happy to have a broad nib. You can see in the size of my hand, this is a decent size. That cap feels really comfortable when posting as well. So I'm loving that pen, and I got it inked up this week as well, and that is it's got a glitter ink as I mentioned in it, but it's a beautiful pen, and I don't think I thought about whether or not I should upgrade it to an 18 karat gold nib, and honestly, that steel nib writes really nicely. So I don't at this moment in time see any reason to really change the nib out on that one. The next pen inked up this week is this one, and it's a Mr. Cypress. It's the Eggshell 05A. Beautiful pen with crushed duck's eggs, not quail's eggs, duck's eggs, and abalone strips here, just peeking through the pen. I really do love this pen, and it's an interesting pen. I would like more Mr. Cypress pens. I would be lying if I said I didn't want more Eggshell Varden pens from Mr. Cypress. I just haven't seen any really at the moment that really I would love. But I do love this section, and I wish they'd do more of that. Like the Varden sort of specs there are beautiful. And this comes with a Mr. Cypress number 6 size, a 14 karat gold nib. It's a cartridge converter. It's a flat top pen, so you can't post the cap. It's not going to be designed to do so. But it's a really, really nice pen. And I have to say, I am liking those pens quite a lot. So from that perspective, it's a great pen. The next pen here is the first Mr. Cypress I bought, actually, which is the Mr. Cypress Eggshell 06. And this reminds me of the Thatcher Miyabi Winter's Breath and the Thatcher Miyabi Empress Winter's Breath, although it is a flat top pen, not a cigar shaped pen. But again, it's crushed duck's eggs, not quail's eggs, with abalone strips, and it's just spirals around the pen, and that just, for me, just makes it look beautiful. And if I unscrew the cap, I've got a number, a Mr. Cypress number 6 size, 18 karat gold nib on this one, and this is a medium nib. This one was a 14 karat gold nib. And again, you can see it's a pretty good size in my hand. It feels very comfortable. All of the Mr. Cypress pens are cartridge converters. There is actually, you could, if you wanted to, there's no metal on this, so you could, if you wanted to, eyedropper these pens. I'd be a little bit worried about them leaking out. You'd probably have to put an O-ring here on the threads. But in theory, you possibly could eyedropper them. I'm not going to do so. I'm perfectly happy with a cartridge converter. So for that reason, I'm out in terms of eyedroppering those pens. And I typically only eyedropper pens that are meant to be eyedroppered. The next pen here is an Anoto. And again, this is a solid sterling silver pen. This is the Anoto, and you'll see here it says Magna, Carta, 1215. So this is to commemorate the Magna Carta. You'll see the coin finial there on the cap. And this really is a beautiful, beautiful work of art. And I just am really loving this pen. And I love how it writes as well. I do have an Anoto number 7 size nib on here, and it's a 18 karat gold fine nib. And I did try the fine nib when I was at the pen show when I bought this, and I loved the nib. I'm normally a medium nib guy for Anotos, but and likewise Viscontis as well. But I do have some fine nibs, so I wanted a fine nib. You can't post the caps on this, unfortunately, and there's nothing on this end either. But it's a beautiful pen, and Magna Carta means a lot in terms of modern legal systems and laws, and a lot of those were derived from the Magna Carta. So from that perspective, yeah, I think, and also the Magna Carta being in the UK, in England, I think that speaks to me in terms of a pen. But the real pen that I wanted prior to buying that was the Rosetta Stone, and I didn't think I was going to buy it because it was technically out of my price range. And the thing with that is that we all have theoretical limits on price ranges, and I had a theoretical limit, and I just wasn't prepared to pay the full retail price or close to it. But then this pen became available from Roya Izos, who's a second-hand retailer of pens, and I saw this there and I jumped at it. But you can see the amount of detail here in the cap, all of these hieroglyphs, and the hieroglyphs are in 3 different languages for the Rosetta Stone. So this is a beautiful pen, and I love it. I really do love it. And I didn't get to choose a nib on this one, so I did get an Anoto number 7 size 18 karat gold fine nib. And again, this is a cartridge converter. You can't post the cap on this, but it's a decent size. So I don't find the need ever to try and post the cap on that pen. And then the last pen here inked up is, again, a favourite of mine. And it's the Anoto, and I'll show you here, it's the British Museum, and it's the Great Court Vitreous. So this is a sterling silver pen, like the other Anotos here, but it has this enameling over the sterling silver. Beautiful effect, and if I bring it up close, you could just see that there. It is stunning. Again, not a cheap pen, and I wouldn't have bought this brand new, but again, Roya Izos had this for sale, and I bought it. So this has an Anoto number 7 size 18 karat gold fine nib again, and I could at some point easily swap these nibs out for a medium nib. Again, it's not really designed to be posted either. It's a cartridge converter, but I love this pen. It really is a beautiful pen. And it writes really well, even with a fine nib. And I say even with a fine nib. I'm more of a medium nib guy, sometimes a broad nib, but I do occasionally do fine nibs. And for me, that pen, and actually all 3 of these actually write in fine nibs, write very, very well. So there you have it. That's my 10 pens currently inked for this week. I think let's now go and do a writing sample. So the first pen inked up this week is the Anoto, and this is the Platinum Jubilee overlay. So we'll do an ink swatch here. And this is, you might be mistaken that this is a black ink. It's not, but it's not far off it, to be honest. This is the Anoto Platinum Jubilee. Overlay, and it's a medium, and it's an 18 karat gold nib, and the ink in here is diamine graphite, which can be a lighter grey in some more narrower or drier writing nibs, but in a wetter medium nib it actually turns out to be more of almost a black. The next pen inked up is the Anoto Platinum Jubilee in sterling silver. We'll do an ink swatch, and this is another medium nib, and you can see why I like these, because these just write nice and wet. So this is the Anoto Platinum Jubilee sterling silver, and it's a medium, and it's an 18 karat gold nib, and the ink in here is diamine majestic purple, which is really the most favourite purple ink that I have. Still is on the top slot there. The next pen inked up is the Anoto, and this is the Coronation pen. So we'll do an ink swatch. And I'm sure I'm going to be sorry when this ink is run out, because it is an ink that I'm liking a lot, and I do like it actually in this pen. So this is the Anoto Coronation Sterling Silver, and it's a medium, and it's an 18 karat gold nib. And the ink in here is KWZ Hawaii, and I wonder if I could contact KWZ and sneakily ask them if they've got a couple more bottles of this. I know this was an exclusive for Onoto. I'm pretty sure KWZ wouldn't send me a couple more bottles, but I guess I could always ask. But I'm sure there's going to be other blue inks I can put in there, and maybe there's even another KWZ blue ink that is going to be somewhat very similar to that. Let me know actually if there are that you know of. The next pen inked up is the Anoto Cult Pens exclusive Christmas Carol. So this is a broad steel nib, and the Anoto nibs are normally, the 18 karat nibs are normally Bock nibs. The steel nibs are Yovo nibs, and this is a steel nib. So this is the Anoto Cult Pens, and it's the Christmas Carol, and it's a broad, and as I said, it was a steel Yovo nib. And the ink in here is Vinta, and it's a Cult Pens exclusive, and it's called Whiskey Gold, which is a beautiful gold shimmer ink, and one that I now have, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bottles of ink of, I think. Yeah, I clearly like that ink, and I know it did sell out several times, so yeah, I bought a few more bottles. The next pen inked up is the Mr. Cypress Eggshell 05A. So we'll do an ink swatch. And this is, I remember when I got this pen, I was trying to think, what colour do I put in it? And I didn't know. I wanted to kind of put a purple in it, but then I saw there was quite a bit of green in that Rawdon. So I thought, let's go for a green. So this is Mr. Cypress Eggshell 05A, and it's a medium, and it's a 14 karat gold nib, made by Conway in India. The ink in here is Rora and Klinger, and it's Verdura. And that is a green ink that I like. There's another green ink, KWZ Grass Green, that I like as well. The next pen inked up is the Mr. Cypress Eggshell 06. And we'll do an ink swatch here. And I did very quickly buy, I think it was 8 Mr. Cypress pens in the space of about 3 months. And the reason being is that most of the Mr. Cypress pens are made in batches of 5 to a design. And then once those 5 are sold out, that's it, they're gone. So when you see a Mr. Cypress pen that you like the look of, and you think you want to buy it, because it will be sold out in probably 2 or 3 months from release. So this is Mr. Cypress Eggshell 06, and it's a medium. And this one is an 18. Oh, I think I am just out of ink. Oh, no. I've got ink there. I just need to prime the converter a bit. I'm getting very, very low on ink. So this is an 18 cat gold nib. And then the ink in here is Pelican, Edelstein, Apatite. I always want to say Topaz, but Topaz is a blue, at least in Pelican anyway. In Pelican Edelstein ink. I always want to call that Topaz for some reason. The next pen inked up is the Anoto Magna Carta Sterling Silver. And we'll do an ink swatch. And I just fell in love with this nib when I was writing with it at one of the pen shows when I bought this. And it was a London pen show. So this is an Anoto, and it's the Magna Carta, and it's a fine, and it's an 18 karat gold nib, so it's a Bock nib. And then the ink in here is Diamine Earl Grey, which in this pen actually is quite dark compared to the Diamine Graphite there. It's actually surprising because normally Diamine Earl Grey isn't as dark as that. The next pen inked up is the Noto Rosetta Stone, and I'm going to do an ink swatch here. And this is Diamine Earl Grey. So this is the Anoto Rosetta Stone. And it's a fine, and it's an 18 cat gold nib. And then the ink, as I mentioned, is Diamine Earl Grey. And I'm gonna do the last pen, but I just realised I missed a pen. So the last pen here is the Anoto, and this is the British Museum Great Court Vitreous. But I'll go back to the pen that I missed in a little bit. So we'll do an ink swatch. I don't know how I missed that pen, but you'll see it in a moment. So this is the Anoto British Museum Great Court Vitreous, and it's a fine, and it's an 18 karat gold nib. And the ink in here is a Venustus, and it's Aqua di Spargi. And now for the honourable mention for the pen that I actually missed earlier on, which should have been the fourth pen, is the Conway Stewart. And this is the Coronation in sterling silver. So apologies there. I don't know how I missed that one. But glad that I picked up on that. Otherwise, there would have only been 9 pens here. This is a lovely writing nib. This is the Conway Stewart. And it's the Coronation. And it's in sterling silver. And it's a medium, and it's an 18 karat gold nib. And then the ink in here is Diamine Earl Grey. And there you are. I'm just going to check. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, we've got all 10 now. So I think let's take a look at the pens inked up one more time. We have an Anoto Platinum Jubilee overlay in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Diamine Graphite. We have an Anoto Platinum Jubilee Sterling Silver in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Diamine Majestic Purple. We have an Anoto Coronation Sterling Silver in a medium 18 karat gold nib, inked up with KWZ Hawaii. We have an Anoto Colt Pens Christmas Carol in a broad steel nib, inked up with Vinter Colt Pens Whiskey Gold. We have a Mr. Cypress Eggshell 05A in a medium 14 karat gold nib, inked up with Royal and Klinger Verdura. We have a Mr. Cypress Eggshell 06 in a medium 18 karat gold nib, inked up with Pelican Edelstein Appetite. We have an Anoto Magna Carta in a fine 18 karat gold nib, inked up with Diamine Earl Grey. We have an Anoto Rosetta Stone in a fine 18 karat gold nib, inked up with Diamine Earl Grey. We have an Anoto British Museum Great Court Vitreous in a fine 18 karat gold nib, inked up with Venustus Aqua di Spargi. And then we have a Conway Stewart Coronation Sterling Silver in a medium 18 karat gold nib, inked up with Diamine Earl Grey. But you can see here the difference in these three Earl Greys, that each of these look quite different. So there you have it. That's my 10 pens currently inked for this week. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye-bye.